So hello everyone, today is a really quick video about simple tips to draw cars. Now cars can be scary, they can feel challenging, but if we're doing them as part of an urban sketch, part of a whole scene, they don't need to be perfect and we can get them in very easily with a couple of simple ideas. So firstly, a simple way of thinking about cars is as if they're a box. So if we've got a car on its side, we can draw a box like this. And what we'll notice, if we draw the box, if we actually look at a car and draw a box like this, we end up with 3 vanishing points. So we got one going off there, point here, point over there, point going up. That's because cars are filled with perspective. So we need to be wary of that as we draw them. Now many people will draw their box and then they can sort of start building up their car within this box. And you see how we can get a sort of car-like shape very quickly just by following the sort of lines of perspective that we've drawn here. Just very quickly builds up. Obviously this is a very crude car, but you can see how you could work on this and improve it gradually and gradually. Now the other thing that I like to do with cars is essentially think of them as a series of shapes. So we've got say a bonnet, and that's a kind of a rectangle, but we need to just be careful with cars because it's never strictly a rectangle. This line will be coming down like this. This line comes down, this line goes up, this line will go down. It might be different depending on perspective, but we have shapes and then we just really need to draw what we see, not what we think we see. So we see a rectangle, but then just take a moment to go, what's that rectangle really look like? But when you've got that, you can start very easily building it up again. So we've got another kind of rectangle for a bonnet. Then we've got another sort of kind of rectangle for the front. And then we've got kind of circles. So we can draw circles and then just refine them until they're the right shape. And even under the car, you'll often have a wheel there. And just gradually you can build up your car. Again, you'll often see the top of the car. And it's often tempting to draw like a big square, but immediately looks wrong. Actually, what you're normally going to see is just a disappearing of that top of the car towards the back of the car. So again, it's a simple shape, but we just need to take a little bit of time to gradually put it together, to not be overwhelmed by the level of detail or whatever that we see. So putting it all together, I tend to just go for it with a pen, and then I work on a couple of specific things as I'm drawing, which are the details which really make a difference, which really make a box into a car. So if I just start, I'm going to draw a sort of 4x4 style car, and we've got a big front grille, and then we've got these big lights. This light's smaller than that because, again, the angle we're thinking about. What else is important? A number plate. And there we go, we've already got something which looks like the front of a car. Now we've got this bonnet, and again, we just need to be careful. How far do we think this extends? And using a reference is really useful for this as well, even if you're doing a scene from your imagination, using a reference to get shapes, to get ideas. And again, we've got this windscreen, which is probably a rectangle, but actually the angle is going to be a lot steeper here. So this is going off to that side, this is going to be coming towards us. We can see just the very faintest of the top of the car, and then the side kicks in over here. It's also tempting to draw the side too long sometimes, so just be careful. Where does it actually come down? It's normally quite a lot shorter than we imagine. You can often see a little light at the back. And even if you can't, it can be good just to add it in. It provides a sort of extra feature which really identifies your car. You can do things like doors at the side if you like. And again, just thinking about the perspective, you see how this line's going up, this is going sort of this way, and then this one needs to head a bit further down. And there we go. So we've built up our sort of box of a car, missing one key detail, this wing mirror. And then we can add in some windows and we can add in reflections, things like that. All these little bits really do help. And of course, the last detail we're missing is the wheels. We can add those in gradually, so we can add the front in, then the side. Just building them up and add a little bit of tone to them. We do the same here. I didn't leave wheel arches, but wheels are black. They're dark, so we can go over lines. So there's no problem in having to add them in after. And there we go. Just a couple of minutes, we've got this sort of 4x4 feeling car. It's definitely a car because of these details. You know, we could go one step further. We can add the shadow that cars always have under them. But just remember, we've got a box, we've got shapes, and then we can bring it all together by adding in a couple of details. And without any real fuss, you've got a simple car which you can add into any scene you want.